Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. So today I'm going to be starting a new series called Pondering Time. I think the main purpose for this series is mainly just to catalog everything that I've considered in the past. But for one reason or the other, I chose not to purchase a watch. And then going forward, for upcoming releases, I probably will put it into the series as well. So hopefully it can shine a light on some of these models I've considered, and maybe it'll help out if you're also considering. So pretty much anything goes. It's for any watch that caught my eye, I would add it into this list. So mostly there will be all shaped watches. I probably won't be adding too many quartz watches into the series. I mean, there's just so many, but you know, there are certain model quartz watches I will consider as well. Vintage watch, probably not too many, but yeah, there's no really any hard rules. Likely it'll just be one model per brand, unless you know that brand has many. They're like famous for case shaped watches like Cartier, but yeah, most likely it'll be not too many models per brand, and most of these watches will most likely be cheaper than my Grail watch. If it was higher or more expensive, I don't think I would be pondering upon them. I'd probably be just like, why don't I just get the Grail? So yeah, at the end of this video, for each watch or each episode, I think the watch will either fall into three categories. Either I will actively seek out a good deal to purchase, or will only consider if it's on a massive discount, or just straight up pass. For these early episodes, most likely it will not fall into the first category, or else it would have already been in my collection, I think. And spoiler, I think most of these don't make it, or I don't consider buying it because it doesn't have a date function. But not today's topic. Today I'm going to be talking about Eterna, and the model will be the Madison 8 Days. But before we get into the actual watch, just some chatting about this brand Eterna. I think maybe it's not that well known, but a lot of people probably know a little bit about this brand. I think they created Etta. I think they're still probably under the Swatch group. They're famous for inventing like the rotor ball bearing, the 5-ball bearing on automatic rotors. And that's their they incorporate it into their logo. So yeah, some famous models, the Kontiki, that's probably their most famous. Current collection, nothing really caught my eye, but it's just they're all round watches. I think this one's very pretty. Yeah, so they got the chronograph, Kontiki. I think they have like three lines, right? Yeah, the Eternity, Kontiki, and Heritage line. Yeah, okay. So today, the actual model I want to talk about is on a discontinued line called the Madison, Eterna Madison. I think there's mainly three models. The one I really pondered upon is this one, the Madison 8 days, right? Yeah. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I think but before this model came out, the very first Madison was probably just like a simple 3-hand. Yeah, Madison 3-hand. And then a little bit later, they came out with another model called the Madison 3-hand Spherodrive. Oh, Spherodrive. So this is when they kind of had this new movement technology. And then, so those two models didn't have any date function, so I didn't really consider. And then lastly, this is the one that I was pondering on, which is called the 8 day. It has a big date, which is my favorite complication. And it also has the Spherodrive movement. Yeah, so I think this one, yeah, it came in white, black. Anyways, I think I'm going to transition. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So I'm gonna go down like every aspect of this watch and tell you a little bit of what I think. If it's something that really impressed me, I'll probably give extra points. Something that doesn't, reduce points. And then at the end, I'll try to summarize what I feel about it. Okay, so I made a little chart. So this is going to be Eterna Madison 8 days. Perfect. Alright. So first thing I want to consider is the actual shape. So this shape, it's probably a fusion between tank and Tonneau. It has a little bit of barrel shape, but I do give extra points because the actual crystal is also shaped and it's not like a circular crystal. So that's why I give extra points there. So that's something I really liked. Next is diameter. Diameter is fairly okay, but diameter on any rectangular watch is a little misleading. So 38.5, nothing wrong with that. I think anything over 44 I would deduct points. Alright, thickness is 13.25, that's acceptable. I'll probably award points if it was less than 12. Okay. Material, stainless steel, that's fine. Nothing wrong there. Yeah, it has an exhibition caseback, which I do enjoy, so I give extra points there. Let me just search 8 days specifically. So yeah, it's an execution caseback. Okay, so next is lug width. Lug width, as long as it's not an odd lug width, I'm happy with. Then the next part is the lug to lug. Lug to lug, this is where I have issue with this watch. So 53.3. It's quite big. I think my cutoff is around 51. So this is an issue. Alright, next part it's gonna be basically the dial finish or the layout. So I don't think anything wrong there. So it's got a sunburst, texture dial. Let's see if I can find a good picture. Yeah, so it has some nice finishing on it. It's a little bit asymmetric, but I think it's decent. Like the big date and the power reserve, it's opposite corners, so not that bad. I really don't like this text where it says 8 days. That's a little off-putting. But the branding is quite minimal, which is good. I think the dial came in 3 colors, white, black, and gray. Yeah, white, black, and gray. Okay, so next part is a crystal sapphire, so I'll give points there. Not much else to talk about. The markers, if you ever looked at my current collection, you probably picked up on me liking index markers a bit more than Roman numerals or Arabic numerals. So I do enjoy index marker, and these markers are applied, so I do give points to that. I think the hands are just like your typical polished Dauphine hand, so not much to add there. Lume is only on the hands, which is fine with me. Don't have anything against or for Lume. Alright, so movement, it's gonna be basically the movement function. I mean, it's 8 days. The quick set for the day is actually a button on the side of the case. I don't know if I can find a picture. Yeah, it's difficult to find a picture of that button, but yeah. So it's a little bit of a hassle in setting the date. And it runs at 4 Hz, so you're very typical. Date, it has a big date, so that is extra points for sure. Okay, and the winding method is a manual, which I enjoy more than an automatic, so I give extra points there. Okay, so the caliber basically I would give points that has anything that's interesting or innovative. So it's an in-house caliber 3510. Yeah, it has dual barrels. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, dual barrels, and it has something called Spherodrive. So Spherodrive is what is neat about this movement. Basically, I don't know if it does anything to accuracy or longevity, but the idea is they put ball bearing inside the actual main barrel, so as the main barrel unwinds, it's less friction, I guess. So yeah, Eterna basically, invented the ball bearing on an automatic thing, so they try to apply it to a manual movement. So I do commend them for that. So extra points there. Okay, next is the fit and finish. I do think the fit and finish is very well made, and I do enjoy that this is a shake movement, so it's not like any regular movement they just slapped into the watch. yeah, she made a rectangular shape movement, so I give extra points there. It's blue screwed, some Geneva stripes. Band is leather. Not sure if it's genuine alligator or embossed, but whatever. Okay, and then next, it's a clasp. It has a deploying push button release clasp, which is fine. The crown is a push pull crown, which is fine. I think on a manual winding movement, if it had a screw down crown, I would probably take points away. Yeah, I've seen watches like that, and I think it's totally uncool. Okay, water resistant 30 meter, no surprise there, nothing wrong there. I don't really care for water resistance as long as it has some. And then the power reserve is kind of famous for this watch, I guess. 8 days, 192 hours. And it's part of the display in front, which I do like, especially on a manual winding movement. I think it's kind of important. So yeah, I think that's all the specs and stuff I've considered. So the only thing I dislike is how big it is, basically. And the last thing I don't like is the price. The price is, I think, way too high. I mean, I know it's in-house movement, new technology, but at the MSRP of 12,000, I think that's USD. I'm actually not sure if it's USD or Swiss francs, but that price is a little too high for me, I think. Let's see. Yeah, like so like on Joma Shop, I mean, it's out of stock, but I think the lowest it's ever been was 7,800 USD. Currently on Chrono 24, the 8 days, there's one for 8,000, almost 9,000 Canadian, and 7,000, and then this one almost 6,000 Canadian, which is a massive discount compared to the MSRP, but I think it's still a little high for me. Yeah, and the other one for 4,000, that one is not the 8-day model. Yeah, this is the caliber, which is the in-house hand wound. Okay, so put this back. Okay, so basically to summarize overall feel, I would say I would only consider this on a massive discount. There's many desirable aspects, but MSRP is too high and it wears a little too big. Let's see. Yeah, and then the last thing I want to just consider is how does it, fit into my collection. So I think at the MSRP, I might as well just get my Grail. It's quite high. With a massive discount, it's probably going to be put into my affordable category by that time. And then at this point, then I would kind of like worry about the in-house movement Spherodrive and the upkeep cost, because I don't know if it breaks or anything wrong, I have to send it back to Switzerland. So yeah, I think that's how I usually consider watches. I just kind of view it in this way and then see how it fits. So yeah, that's gonna be the first episode of Pondering Time. I think yeah, I'll see how this format goes in my editing. See if I need to change up anything or not. Going forward, for any watch that I consider, it's probably gonna be put into this. And for watches that are more expensive than my Grail watch, I probably will add it into a separate category. Probably just watches that will never be able to afford or something. I don't know. I'll think of something. Anyway, thank you so much. Stay tuned.